So I'm starting with my face already primed, and I'm taking this LA Girl white foundation. I think it's more of a foundation mixer, and I'm taking a few pumps of that and then only adding like 1 to 2 pumps of my actual foundation shade to go ahead and mix. I didn't want to have like a stark white appearance to my skin. I wanted to make it just like a very pale version of my skin tone, so that's what I was going for. And I'm taking my damp beauty blender and just going ahead and blending that all out. So one thing about this concoction is it's very, how do I put it? Like it gets very watery and sheer, and the coverage isn't fully there, so I had to go ahead and build that up in several places. Another thing that I didn't really like was how it was sitting on my skin. It just looked kind of like patchy, and I could see all my pores and stuff, so I wasn't a huge fan, and I almost wanted to completely start over, but I pushed through it and just kind of kept working on building up that coverage as much as I could. And I did the same thing with my concealer. I just took some of that on the back of my hand and mixed in the white to try and highlight like I normally would. And then I just took a white setting powder and then used that to go ahead and mattify my face because it felt like really wet and slick. And then I'm just taking a white sheer shadow to go ahead and set my eyelids because I saw that they were creasing as well. Next, I'm just going to fill in my eyebrows. I did my best to keep them a little bit more on the straighter side and not as arched as my natural eyebrows go. I'm not very good at changing the shape of my eyebrows, and I'm still not that great at filling in my own eyebrows naturally. So I just did my best to sort of just slightly straighten out the shape of my eyebrows a little bit and, make them dark. I should have probably ran through them after with like a black eyeshadow, but at the time I thought that they looked like black enough. But after I go and I put the wig on later, I kind of notice now that my eyebrows are on the lighter side in comparison to the rest of the black I've got going on my face and in my hair. Then once I'm good on the shape of my eyebrows, I'm just taking my brow gel and setting those. So to do the top of my eyeliner, I'm just taking my liquid liner just so I can try and tightline the top of my eyelid, just because I didn't really think going in with a pencil was gonna be as clean. It's not a clean look, but I just wanted to make sure I got as close to my lash line as I could, so I went in with the liquid first, and then I'm taking my kohl liner from Marc Jacobs and putting that on. I really like the formula of this one. It's expensive, but I feel like this is an eyeliner that's really worth it. I normally don't like spending money on pencil liners, but I felt like this one was really worth the investment. And then I'm dragging it down on my lower lash line to smoke it out a little bit. So next I am taking a black shadow on a brush and really smoking out that liner. This is kind of where you can go in and then make that raccoon effect. That's like the whole vibe I get from Willow. Her eyes are just like super black around them, so you can kind of just not focus on being like super clean. Like this is where you can kind of get a little messy and it doesn't have to be perfect, and you can smoke it out. After I am happy with my liner and my shadow on my eyes, I am then going to take a mascara and just coat my lashes, because then we're going to go in and then pop some falsies on as usual, because I don't know how to do things without putting on fake eyelashes. It's a problem, and if you start wearing fake eyelashes, you're gonna want to wear them all the time, because now you just feel like your life's incomplete without them. So these ones are the Farrah Lash from Huda Beauty, not the Scarlet ones. But yeah, these ones I wanted something that was a little, I guess, less dense and a little more that opened up the eye a little bit more, so I went with these. So now on the picture that I referenced with Willow, she has these like 2 black lines on both sides of her cheeks. So I then went in with that same brush I used for my eyes and created those lines and then blended them out a little bit. So I do mess up. I take the lines a little bit longer than I would want them. So a quick way to correct it is I didn't add any extra product to my beauty blender. I just used what was already there and then pounced that around and cut off where I didn't want the lines to extend from. So for lip color, I'm just taking a muted pink and popping that on the inner part of my lip. I don't want my lips to fully be covered with color, so I'm just gonna take my beauty blender after and then pounce that over with no extra product. So now we're gonna jump over to the wig. I got mine just from a local costume shop that's here in Arizona. So what I'm doing is I'm just brushing it out first, and then I'm separating the hair into pigtails because I want to have that divide as I work on each one. So I got that Gots to Be glued hairspray, and I'm spraying that over the pigtail, and then I'm using it to smooth it together, and I'm twisting it to kind of take all the flyaways away and really slick it down, because you want to keep all the hair as close together for when we go through and manipulate it to then have those like curly bits, pigtails, or whatever, however you want to describe it, that Willow has. So originally I thought for some reason that just spraying the hell out of the hair was gonna be enough for me to mold it, and that's not the case. You can probably do that with like a shorter wig, but for this wig, for hair this long, it was too heavy and it wasn't gonna work. So what I did was I went to Michael's and I got some black wire. It's by like where the jewelry section is, so I just got some of that black wire. I think mine was the biggest gauge you can get, and I hooked it through the cap of the wig, not just at the base of the pigtail, but I hooked it through the actual cap, so that way it was rooted at the base of the wig. And then I took 2 strands of the pigtail and grabbed it. I doubled the wire, and you'll see that I'm just twisting the hair with the wire, so that way it's doubled. And then I go ahead, and that's where I start to manipulate that wire. At first I tried just keeping it in the pigtail, and it didn't like hold its shape because it was just flopping around. So that's why it's important that you hook it through the base of the cap and not just at the base of the pigtail. So again, you'll see that I'm just taking the wire with the hair and just twisting and twisting it. And because that wire's black, it's okay. It'll basically get concealed when if you see it. I couldn't see any of the wire. The hair did a pretty good job of completely wrapping and hiding the wire, but just in case, you want to probably get a wire that's close to the hair color of the wig. I know that's not always ideal, like if you're gonna do like pink or blue, but just a tip there. It was really easy for this one because it was black, of course. So again, I'm just I tied hair ties at the base of the pigtails after I got the wire, just because I felt like it helped secure and hold that wire together a little bit more. And then again, I'm just going through manipulating the wire till I get that shape that I'm happy with. So now jumping back, I am now buttoning up this shirt, which I'm not used to wearing button ups all the way up to my neck, so I was struggling with the button a little bit. So now we are going to finally put the wig on our head. So tip, I mean, this should be self-explanatory. I didn't try this wig on at all when I got it, so I didn't realize it was going to be this tight on my head. So there's a lot of struggling going on. So try your wigs on, which again, that should be common sense, but I didn't try it on at all since I bought it. So as you can see, got it on, held its shape, the wires are going strong, and yeah, just make sure you're putting those wires through the base of the cap. Now it's contact time. So these are the Sweet Crazy lenses in blind white from Uniqso, and just a forewarning, you can't see jack shit out of them. They're really cool, And if you're planning on getting some white contacts to wear out, make sure you get mesh or something like that, because once these go in your eyes, you literally can't see anything.